Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. Today's topic is about scaling and measurement. When we do research, we need to identify the variable to meet the research objective. And then how the variable can be measured. So to measure the variable, you need to understand the level of measurement. So we know that in statistics, there are 4 levels of measurement. The first one is the nominal, the second one is ordinal, followed by interval and ratio. What are the difference among these 4 levels of measurement? Nominal and ordinal falls under qualitative data. Nominal is a categorical data, but there is no ordering or direction. Example of nominal data are gender, religious, type of cars, and so forth. It must be in a category, but no ordering or direction. It doesn't, for example, gender, it doesn't mean that male better than female. While for ordinal is also a categorical data, but it can be ranked. For example, grade, A, B, C, D. Level of education, SPM, diploma, degree, master, PhD. Level of income, less than 1,000, 1,000 to 2,000, 3,000 to 4,000, more than 4,000. So that is under ordinal. It's a categorical and can be ranked. While interval and ratio, both falls under quantitative data. What is the difference between interval and ratio? For interval, the value of 0 is exists. There is a meaningful value for 0. For example, let's say if you get score, or test score equal to 0, so it exists. Temperature equal to 0, it exists. So that is for the interval. While for ratio, if we mention about 0, for example, number of children equal to 0, so meaning that the children does not exist. Distance equal to 0. What does it mean? So there is no distance at all. Height equal to 0. So the object that we want to measure does not exist. So that is the difference between interval and ratio. And then another way to distinguish between these two type level of measurement is interval data type cannot be compared quantitatively. While for ratio we can compare quantitatively, meaning that for example, weight weight fall under ratio data. Let's say you have one box weight 4 kg and then another box weight 2 kg. So you can see that the box of 4 kg 2 times heavier than a box of 2 kg. So you can compare quantitatively. The magnitude of the difference is equal to 2. However, for interval, you cannot compare quantitatively. For example, test score. Let's say you score 80. And then your friend score 40. Of course, those who score 40 is smarter than those who score 40. But you cannot say that those who score 80 2 times, okay, smarter than score 40. Okay, so that is under interval. Oh sorry, that is the difference between interval and ratio. Interval you cannot compare quantitatively. There is no the magnitude of the difference does not indicate anything. Okay, but you can see that of course, okay, those who score 80, okay, is smarter, okay, than those who score 40. Okay, another example, in a beauty pageant, okay, to determine who is the prettiest woman, okay, in the world. Okay, so they have a beauty pageant. Okay, so we have the score to determine who is the prettiest. Okay, so let's say the prettiest one, okay, got score 80, okay, and then the other contestant got score 40. Okay, you can say that, okay, it's true that the person got 80 marks, okay, is prettier compared to the contestant got 40 marks. Okay, but you cannot see that the contestant with 80 marks 2 times prettier, okay, than the other contestant who got 40 marks. Okay, so that is the difference between interval and ratio. Okay, it is very important to understand the level of measurement, because the data analysis technique is depends on the level of measurement. Okay, it is suggested that, okay, to have a ratio data, okay, so that a lot of analysis can be conducted. Okay, while for nominal data, the analysis can be conducted very limited. Okay, so therefore if you have a data, at least ratio, okay, a lot of analysis, or interval, a lot of analysis can be conducted. Okay, however, okay, you must also have be careful, okay, with the ordinal and interval. Okay, for example, salary. Okay, if the questionnaire asks, okay, what is your salary? Okay, so that will be under ratio data. Okay, but okay, if the question, okay, is in categorical, okay, what is your salary? Okay, less than 1,000, 1,000 to 2,000, 2,000 to 3,000, 3,000 and above, so that is under ordinal. Okay, and then another example, level of satisfaction. Okay, if in the questionnaire, okay, you ask in general what is your level of satisfaction, okay, and then you can choose 5 options. Okay, very satisfied, satisfied, neutral, not satisfied, and very not satisfied. Okay, so there are 5 options. So if that is the level, if that is your measurement, we call it under ordinal. Okay, but okay, let's say you have a dimension, okay, of to measure the satisfaction towards cleanliness, towards public toilet. Okay, so there are 5 items, okay, to measure the satisfaction in terms of the cleanliness, okay, in terms of the smell, okay, and then in terms of the freshness. Okay, so there are certain items to measure the level of satisfaction. Okay, and then you get the score, okay, of the level of satisfaction. So if you compute the score, okay, that level of satisfaction does not fall under ordinal data, it become the interval data type. Okay, Okay, so there are many scaling technique, okay, that can be used for your research. Okay, so it's either comparative scale or non-comparative scale. Okay, for comparative scale, okay, we have paired comparison, rank order, constant sum, and Q-sort scaling. While for non-comparative scale, we have either continuous rating scale or the itemized rating scale. Okay, for itemized rating scale, we have Likert, semantic differential, and Stapel. Okay. So let us go, okay, with the paired comparison scale. Okay, so for paired comparison scale, the respondent is presented with two objects at a time and asked to select one object based on some criterion. Okay, for example here, let's say you want to compare a brand of um, brand of a drink, okay, a Coke, between Coke and Pepsi, okay, Coke and Sprite, Coke and Limca. Okay, so there are four brands, okay, and then you do a comparison in pair. Okay, Coke, Pepsi, Coke, Sprite, okay, and then you count the number of times preferred. Okay, the advantage of the paired comparison scale, okay, some special techniques such as the multi-dimensional scaling require the data to be collected based on pair comparison. Okay, so you can do a multi-dimensional scaling analysis. Okay, however, the disadvantage of the paired comparison scale, okay, data obtained is ordinal. Okay, so if the number of objects, okay, is large, there is a high risk of ill-considered answer to refusal to answer. Okay, for example here, in this case, there's only 4 brand, okay, to be compared. Okay, if you have 10 brands, okay, to be compared, there's a possibility that the respondent may refuse to answer. Okay, they become confused, okay, when you want to compare from one item to another item. Okay, and then the next scale under comparative scale, okay, is a rank order. Okay, in rank order, respondent is presented with several objects simultaneously and asked to order them according to some criterion. Okay, for example here, okay, please rank the following restaurants, one being the best. Okay, so they list, okay, the restaurant, 4 restaurant, and then you have to rank them, okay, which one is the best. Okay, for example, let's say you choose the best one is the Italian place. Okay, so you put the Italian as number 1, okay, followed by Chinese crackers number 2, okay, number 3 the corner cafe, okay, and then the 4th one is Japanese bistro. Okay, so you rank the preference, okay, in order. Okay, another example, okay, please rank the following order of importance, okay, from 1 to 4, where 1 is most important to you and 4 is least important to you. Okay, so which one is the most important? Okay, speed of service, ease of parking, cleanliness, friendliness of staff. Okay, so you rank. Okay, let's say you think that cleanliness is number 1. Okay, so you can put cleanliness as number 1. Okay, second one is of parking, for example. The third one, speed of service. Okay, number 4 is the friendliness of staff. Okay, that you think is important to you. Okay, advantage of the rank order. Okay, it is less time, okay, than paired comparison scaling. Okay, because when you do a paired comparison, if you have too many items to be compared, it takes time. Okay, while for the rank order, you already have the list. Okay, and then you just put which one is the most preferable. Okay, or which one is the most important. Okay, according to your preference. And then commonly used to measure preference of the brand as well as attributes. Okay, so just now I already show, okay, in terms of the restaurant, and also what is the criteria, okay, that we think the most important. Okay, and then rank order data is obtained in conjoint analysis. Okay, so that is the advantage of the rank order. The disadvantage, okay, rank order scaling results in ordinal data. Okay, so not many analysis can be done, okay, if the data in a ordinal form. Okay, so the next one is the constant sum scale. Okay, in a constant sum scale, respondents allocates a constant sum unit, usually points, okay, among a set of stimulus object with respect to some criterion. Okay, so example here, please divide 100 points among the following characteristic. So the division reflect the relative importance of each characteristic to you in the selection of a bank. Okay, so you are given 100 points, so you have to divide the score or the importance of these five attribute, okay, according to your preference. Okay, for example here, let's say hours of service, okay, you put here 30 marks. Okay, friendliness equal to 10. Okay, distance from home is equal to 10. Okay, investment vehicles 20 marks. Okay, parking facilities equal to 30. Okay, and then when you add the score, okay, all must be equal to 100. Okay, for example here, let's say here is equal to 10. Okay, and then this one is equal to 20. Okay, this is equal to 40. Okay, so this is equal to 10. Okay, and then the last one is equal to 40, 50, 70. Okay, this is 20. So when you total up, all must be equal to 100. Okay, so the advantage of the constant sum scale, it allows fine discriminant among stimulus object, okay, without requiring too much time. Okay, not only measure the preference but also the degree to which a particular attribute is more important than others. Okay, so you can measure the degree, okay, on the particular attribute that is important compared to the others. Okay, but the disadvantage of the constant sum scale, okay, respondents may allocate more or fewer units than those specific. Okay, because when there are too many items, okay, sometimes it's very difficult for a certain person to make sure that, okay, the score is equal to a specific number that we want. Okay, for example here, okay, it takes time for us to determine which attribute that we want to give a higher score, okay, compared to the others. Okay, so that is for the comparative scale. Okay, so the next one is the non-comparative scale. Okay, in non-comparative scale, we have two types. Okay, continuous rating scale and the itemized rating scale. Okay, in the continuous rating scale, the respondent is asked to rate the objects by placing mark at the appropriate position on a line that runs from one extreme criterion variable to other. Okay, for example here, please evaluate the quality of service at Olive Garden by placing a large X on the line at the spot that most closely correspond to your evaluation. Okay, so here from poor service to excellent service, so there is a straight line. Okay, so the respondent can mark at any place on the straight line here. So let's say this is the rate that you want to give, okay, to the service at Olive Garden. Okay, so we as a researcher, what we do here, okay, so we will measure the distance, okay, from here, from the starting point, okay, to the X point. Okay, so we can use, let's say this is a 20 centimeter. Okay, so we put 20 marks. Okay, in this case, okay, or another example, please evaluate the quality of service at Olive Garden by placing a large X on the line that most closely responding to your evaluation. Okay, you may place the X anywhere on the line. Okay, and it does not have to be on a number. Let's say you want to give 8.5. Okay, so you can put here 8.5. Okay, so it doesn't have to be necessary to put exactly, okay, X on the number. Okay, we can put at any place, okay, on this straight line. So that is under continuous rating scale. Okay, under non-comparative scale, so we have the itemized rating scale. Okay, so we have three types in itemized rating scale. Okay, the most famous one is the Likert scale. Okay, I think you know what is a Likert scale, and then you are familiar, okay, with a Likert scale. In a Likert scale, the respondent indicates a degree of agreement or disagreement with each of the series of statement with each of the series of statement about the stimulus object. Okay, and then each statement is assigned a numerical score, okay, ranging from either -2 to 2 or 1 to 5. Okay, and then the total score of each respondent is calculated by summing across the item. Okay, so this is an example of a Likert scale. Okay, so let's say we assume that this is a score. Let's say we assume that very unsatisfied is equal to 1, unsatisfied equal to 2, neutral equal to 3, satisfied equal to 4, and then very satisfied equal to 5. Okay, as you can see that on a Likert scale, each of the category, okay, has its own indication. Okay, the advantage of the Likert scale, okay, it is easy to construct and administer, and then respondent readily understand how to use the scale. Okay, so you don't have to explain to respondent how to answer the questionnaire. Okay, they know that when they look at the question of the Likert scale, okay, they know how to answer the question. Okay, however, the disadvantage of the Likert scale, okay, take longer time to complete than other itemized rating scales, okay, because respondent has to read each statement. Okay, for example here in this case, okay, the item is quite simple, but in some cases, okay, the item need the respondent to read longer time. Okay, so they spend longer time just to read the question that represent the dimension. Okay, so that is the disadvantage of the Likert scale. Okay, The second type of the itemized rating scale is a semantic differential scale. Okay, in a semantic differential scale, the endpoints are associated with adjectives, okay, such as cold and warm, or unreliable and reliable, okay, and so on. Okay, we use the adjective. Okay, poor to rich. What else? Dislike to like, and then low to high. Okay, so there are many intermediate points in between two extreme points and could be coded as 1 to 5 or 1 to 7. Okay, so this is an example of the semantic differential scale. So in this case, they use 5-point scale, okay, to indicate the adjective. Okay, so in this case, the adjective used, okay, from strong to weak, okay, decisive to indecisive, okay, fair to unfair, active to passive, cheerful to uncheerful. Okay, so you can rate according to the traits, okay, given here. Okay, advantage of the semantic differential scale, okay, it is simple, okay, and then easy and fast to administer, and then sensitive to small differences in attitude, reliable and generally valid. Okay, okay, the last non-comparative scale under itemized rating scale is a Stapel scale. Okay, in a Stapel scale, each item has only one word or phrase indicating the dimension it represents. Each item has 6 or 10 response categories, and then each item has an even number categories, and then the response categories have numerical labels but no verbal labels. Okay, so this is an example of the Stapel scale. Okay, please evaluate Mel's dinner, okay, along the following dimension. Positive number indicates a positive evaluation of the criterion, while negative numbers indicate a negative evaluation. Okay, so let's say the first dimension is value. Okay, so negative meaning that is a negative evaluation. Positive, okay, if you choose, let's say, positive 2, okay, so that is a positive evaluation, and it can measure the degree, okay, of the negative and the positive. Okay, and then in some cases, okay, for Stapel scale, okay, the category can be up to 5, okay, positive 5 until negative 5. Okay, when we develop a scaling, okay, so there are certain things that you need to consider. Okay, so the first one is the number of scale categories. Okay, one of the important decision that you have to consider is whether you should 5-point scale or 7-point scale or 10-point scale. Okay, actually, the large number of categories, okay, the greater the precision, okay, because you have more option to choose. Okay, but it may be more difficult to discriminate between levels, and respondent may face a greater difficulty in processing information if the number of categories is more. Okay, let's say if you have 10 categories, okay, and then it is very difficult to distinguish whether you're between 7 to 8, okay, or 8 to 9. Thus, the desire for a higher level of precision must be reasonably balanced, okay, with the demand placed on the respondent. Okay, the second thing that you need to consider, okay, number of item to measure concept, okay, or to measure the dimension. Okay, a multi-item scale, okay, consists a number of closely related individual statement. Okay, but the question is what should be appropriate number of item to measure a particular concept. Okay. In general, it is common to see 5 to 7 items, okay, to measure a single concept. For example, let's say you want to measure about satisfaction, okay. So to measure about the satisfaction, so you must have 5 to 7, okay. A minimum of 3 is a must, okay, to achieve acceptable reliability. If you only have 2 items, there is a possibility that the items are not reliable to measure the concept. Okay. And then odd or even number of categories. Okay, so there is a debate, okay, whether one should even or odd number of points on a rating scale. Okay, if you use odd number of category for the scale, okay, normally the midpoint represent a neutral position. Okay, if you see a Likert scale, okay, strongly with a 5 point, okay, that represent strongly disagree. The middle point is a neutral one, neither agree nor disagree. Okay, and then agree and strongly agree. Okay. This type of scale is generally used, okay, when based on the experience or judgment of the researcher. They believe that, okay, part of the sample are likely to feel neutral about the issues being asked. Okay, so when the researcher asks the question, the respondent feel that they are neither agree nor disagree, okay, about the particular item being asked. Okay, however, there are reasons, okay, might prefer an even scale over an odd, okay, wherein even scale, okay, there is no middle category, okay, there is no neutral, okay, so the respondent are forced whether to be agree or disagree. Okay, if disagree, whether is it only disagree or strongly disagree. Okay, if agree, strongly agree or strongly disagree, or whether is it just agree or strongly agree. Okay. Balanced scale or unbalanced scale. Okay, scale can either be balanced, okay, or unbalanced. Okay. Unbalanced scale, okay, if the number of negative option, okay, is less than the positive option or vice versa. Okay, for example, okay, you have for example here you have strongly agree, strongly disagree, okay, and then you have disagree, okay, and then slightly disagree, okay, and then you have agree, and then strongly agree. Okay, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 category. Okay, but they are imbalance, okay, because there are 3 disagree and then 2 level of agree. Okay, so this is considered as unbalanced scale. Okay, for balanced scale, normally the middle part here, okay, the middle part here should be neither agree, or disagree. So this is under balance. Okay. So this is depends on what kind of answer that you expect, okay, from the respondent. And then, okay, the next criterion, forced choice or non-forced choice. Okay. For measurement, okay, if you want the respondent to either disagree, okay, or agree, okay, with the statement, okay, you cannot have this item. Okay, so meaning that the respondent have a choice, okay, whether to be agree or do not agree. Okay, non-forced choice, so meaning that the respondent have an option, okay, to not agree and to not disagree, okay, or may also have another decision, no opinion, not sure, okay, or do not know. Okay, so that is under non-forced choice. Okay, but normally it will be better, okay, if we have a forced choice, okay, so that we can get a strong opinion, okay, from our respondent. Okay, so I guess that's all for the scaling and measurement. Thank you.